Niwebo balefwaya Kafwa babalanda Mweumfokulila kwa bantu Kasama yusi Bose batinda mea bakulu na banda Bose bashitata na banda mayo banelila we mwamba Kasama ilefwaya iwe wile webo weshi mwamba Later experience Olankale wabomba Mwamba Emmanuel Bose bakasama balefwaya Mwamba Emmanuel Mwamba Emmanuel Bongazama wakulira Tulefwaya mwamba wesu Emmanuel Chipali ni PF Tulefwaya mwamba wesu Emmanuel Wakuito uwele Emmanuel mwamba mbasata Emmanuel Tulefwaya Emmanuel mwamba mbasata Emmanuel Bongazama wakulira Tulefwaya mwamba
to today's The Brief is not a conversation podcast. We have decided that I just come on The Brief quickly and speak to today's issues. You'll be able to participate. You should call us on 0773 783 785. Yesterday, Honorable Raphael Nakachinda, the Patriotic Front Secretary General, was detained. They said he abrogated statutory duty. He had apparently issued a statement in November 2022. And that statement, was talking about the by-elections that were in Lusangazi, Mkushi, and Mwense. Nakachinda had expressed fear that he had information that there were pre-marked ballots that were available. So we're surprised 2 years later for the police to call Nakachinda, and they proceeded to have him arrested. They said with the information he had from ECZ, he should have informed the police and that he disregarded the summons from ECZ. Of course, it was extremely ridiculous. So he was detained last night. So this morning, we went to Kawata Police Station. I went to Kawata Police Station. Other people joined us to check on Honorable Nakachinda and how he was doing. We were shocked to learn that Honorable Nakachinda was moved out of the police cell in the middle of the night without the knowledge of his lawyer, without the knowledge of his family, and taken to an unknown place. This alarmed us. You must have seen in the day that I then began to broadcast from Kawata Police Station to express concern and demand from the police to tell us where they had taken Raphael Nakachinda. The day's event became ugly. My ears are shattering, are literally like shattered, because gunshots were fired literally near where I was over my head, and teargas canisters were thrown where we were seated peacefully with the women that the police tried to attack. And I was picked up and then thrown in the cells, and I've been locked up until now. They've charged me with what they are calling disorderly conduct. They brutalize you. They spray tear gas canisters on you. They fire live bullets over your head, and they tell you you conducted yourself in a disorderly fashion. Let's play the video, and then you'll be able to join us and participate in this conversation. It will be a brief conversation. I've just come from the police station, and I think that we should discuss this matter. So you'll be able to call us on 0773 783 785. But here are summary of the day's events. 4 people were arrested, including myself, for the so-called disorderly conduct. Zambia's 6th president, Edgar Chagwalungu. Apparently, I later learned he came to see me and was not allowed to see me. And other people that came were also not allowed to see us. Let's just play just 2 videos and then I come and take your calls about the rising police state in our country, the shrinking democratic space. Is this where we want a Zambia to go? If I raise concerns about ECZ, how does that become criminal? Let's play the video. Seated across the road, they were not at the police premises. They were seated and singing across. Okay, I don't know how that can be offensive. It's not at the police premises, it is just across. When I saw the police charge towards the women who were singing across, I went to be with them. In fact, I encouraged them to sit down so that they are in a non-aggression position. But you saw that the police proceeded to discharge tear gas canisters where we were, and they fired live ammunition. Many people scampered. As a leader, I felt I was not safe. So I just stood where I was. Of course, I was poisoned with the fumes, but I think it was safer for me to be where I was. We had come in the morning just to establish where our secretary.
They want to tear gas us, they want to shoot us, and they can go ahead and do that. We are citizens of this country. The fact that I'm former president doesn't make me a less citizen, less national. I'm just a national Kenyan. You're former president. Former president, you think should come.
Yeah, thank you very much. As you saw some of the videos that you've just watched, when I was giving the broadcast to our supporters about what was happening at Kawata police station, I saw the police begin to charge towards, the women that were standing across near ShopRite, across a police station, and they were singing, singing our songs, and I walked over there and asked them to sit down, because that's the most peaceful posture you can be. Sit down, so that they do not mistake your standing like aggression. The police came, they literally threw tear gas canister on my feet, and then the gunshots that they were firing, they dispersed us, and our people really scamper. I refused to run because I didn't feel safe. So although I was standing in the fumes, I felt unsafe in the midst of firearm being discharged for me to walk away. What if they shoot you? I wanted to see whoever was going to shoot me. So I stood where the police was, and they came, the fumes got to me. I went across, I got water, washed my face, and while I was standing, they just came and picked me up and locked me up. Of course, many people just scampered. Were we being anarchists? Not at all. We were totally peaceful. The police had asked us to leave the police premises. We walked across Burma and stood at ShopRite, as you've seen in the video. The police still charged at unarmed people that are seated, fired live ammunition, and discharged canisters on us. I can still smell the strong fumes, quite pidi in your nose and mouth. Let's hear your views. This is a Zambia that we have. They want us to be silent. What was Nakachinda's crime? Nakachinda simply said, this is it. You are not fair, not being objective. Electoral Commission of Zambia commissioners are being found in by-elections. They are doing the work of the chief electoral officer and his management. Then the composition of the ECZ with those UPND cadres, we've expressed concern. How can that be anarchy? How can that be a problem when we complain about the constitutional institutions? If we complain about institutions that are supposed to promote democracy, how is that anarchy? How is that a problem? How do you approach ordinary citizens seated peacefully and you fire live ammunition? The UPND thrived on the allegation that PF was brutal, that PF, would abuse the police. They are doing worse. They are doing worse. They picked me up, locked me up. Then later, while I was in the police cells, they brought two other gentlemen. One gentleman was gotten across the police, across inside ShopRite, was badly beaten. You must have seen those videos. I can't show them on Facebook because they'll be flagged as violations. Let's see if we can take your participation. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Oh, okay. I lost that caller. This will be a short broadcast. We invite you to call 0773-783-785. I think the phone was off. I'm just switching it on so that you can call on that line. We're discussing police state, and for me it was properly demonstrated over me. I feared for my life where bullets, these military rifles that our police move with, those are not, they are not shotguns or pistols. Those are AK-47. And when it is fired just near you, it's very, very deafening. Let's take the calls and... hello, good evening, and tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Mwansa here calling from Mondola.
Mr. Mwansa, what's your contribution?
How are you, sir?
Yeah, mumatwi waishwe mfutishiresha chilalila, then nama teargas inayoyalelila kwati muli kugaza. I couldn't believe it, but I didn't want to run away. I said, how I want to kutiba kuipaya.
Awe, mwachishitabuira no butuge bofine paka bati bamu monako chiweme peta kuli abalekwa. So chawa mapantita mufuire twachira mona zimbichara ngapiyachali mushita yenu. Nomba sinsi bachimikata kiechiri wino twatotera mkwai.
Thank you very much. Imran S. Dodia is a major contributor on my page. He says I should stop the crap because Joseph Kaunda was not armed. Imran S. Dodia, are you Zambian? If you are Zambian, would you want a firearm shot at a citizen? Would you want an AK-47 fired over your head? Are you Zambian? Do you care? If the PF did something wrong, you want a UPND to repeat the crimes. You want them to kill Emmanuel, Imran S. Dodia. I'm asking you that question because on my page, you've posted that Joseph Kunda, who was shot, was not armed. So if Joseph Kunda was killed, I should be killed? Is that the standard you want to set for our country? Dictatorship is dictatorship, unacceptable in the past and current. I was alone, unarmed with a mere phone. The police asked us to leave the police station. We did leave the police station. And we went across. Is it an offense to stand alone across? Never serious. Even if you are UPND, you should value life. You should condemn dictatorship. I seem to have problems with my phone. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Mr. Mwamba, calling you from Shibuyunji.
Yes, sir, from Shibuyunji. Kindly make your contributions.
Yeah, I'm
I'm sure we are not safe in this country.
Yes.
At the moment. So you who have got big voices, I'm sure it is high time that you should do this nation in the hands of these people who want to destroy it. They have tribalism. They have peddled a lot of atrocities in this country. As a result, whoever wants to voice out, that person is caged because they feel the power that they have, that the people gave them. They are more powerful than the people who gave them the powers. So I feel you people who are in influencing positions, let us have unit of purpose in this country and kick out this government come 2026 so that the country Zambia can come back to normal. KK saw this. Warned the Zambians that the Zambians never listened, and 2021 they had to usher that dictator into power. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you from Shibuyunji. My call on this brief broadcast is very, very simple. It's unacceptable for a police force to discharge firearms on innocent civilians. We thank God that no one died. We thank God that no one was shot. But I can tell you as a personal witness, our firearm was shot just where I was. Not just one round, many rounds. And then the tear gas canister fumes thrown at me. 2 hapless women. What did the women do? They just came to find out how Nakachinda was doing. How is that a problem? Because they were drumming. Don't we drum? How do we conduct our politics in this country? Is it an offense to do drums at the police station? Come on, come on. Your contribution, please. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening.
You're speaking to Gilbert, calling you from Kaputa.
Yes, Mr. Gilbert.
Yes, I think I sympathize with you. What transpired is inhuman. And for the first time, I've seen such kind of behavior from the police. Honestly speaking, what's wrong with somebody to go and see somebody who has been detained in the police custody? And I see no reason from Mundola. Are you a human being or you are not a human being? How do you say honestly, can you even utter such words? Do you know where this government is taking this country? Eh? The way UPND were misbehaving during where in your position cannot be even compared to what Mwamba and the group did. They went there, UPND used to misbehave, so to say, to the extent that but these people, they just went there quietly, just singing. Is that a crime, honestly? And we have people in UPND supporting such brutality. Bamwamba, just keep on fighting. Otherwise, by UPND, they have seen that they have lost popularity. The only way out, that you cannot reach to this extent, Bamwamba. They have been in government for less than 2 years, less than 3 years, honestly speaking. Can you reach to that extent of even because I'm one of the people who were frustrated, and I did voted for UPN, but I'm very disappointed. I voted for HH. I'm very disappointed with what is happening in this country. And I'm shy when we're Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this broadcast is very important. We'll just briefly speak to the issues. We have expressed concern around Electoral Commission of Zambia. Instead of attending to the issues, ECZ decided to have Nakachinda arrested. They are preparing for 2026. They don't want you or me criticize ECZ. If we identify the UPND cadres and we name them, that they are sitting on the commission, how can you guarantee that we'll have free and fair elections in 2026 with UPND cadres on the commission? How can you have the largest opposition in the country excluded from by-elections? The first 6 that were conducted, you excluded the Patriotic Front. What kind of democracy is that? And the next 6 that are taking place, again, you've excluded the Patriotic Front. Is that the democracy our people voted for? Is this a change that our people chose in 1990, 1991? No, that's not the democracy. If UPND is confident of its work, it should allow the opposition to do their work. It's not enough that they've sponsored a stooge to take over the Patriotic Front and then exclude the PF from participating in by-elections. This is like a dress rehearsal for 2026. You raise concerns against this is that you are locked up, like they've locked up Nakachinda. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Please speak up.
I'm calling you from Gateway.
Yes, sir. Make your contributions.
Yes, based on someone. Good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Good evening. Kindly make your contribution.
Yes. Calling from Gateway.
Yes, please, we can hear that.
This is Eugene calling you from Gateway. Good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Good evening.
I wanted to state that happening actually is regrettable.
My brother, please speak. We can hear you. Just continue.
It's actually regrettable. But the same things used to happen even in PF. So, do the same thing.
Yes, sir.
But listen, Mr. Mwamba, why are you complaining about the same thing that you used to do?
So the UPND should do them as well?
What is good for the goose is also good for the gander. So why is me?
Okay, no, thank you very much. So there's this argument that the PF were brutal, the PF abused the police, so the UPND are justified to abuse the police. The UPND are justified to allow the police to shoot at unarmed citizens. What kind of thinking is that? Why did then Zambians punish the PF and vote them out of power? Mute your other devices and please then tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening. How are you, Ambassador?
Yeah, amma tumule kalipa wachilisha maeke wa polisi literally over my head.
Ambassador, this argument about what you, the PF, used to do.
Yes, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please, just talk. We are hearing you.
Yes, there's this argument that what you, the PF, used to do is now being done to you. I think you should not complain about what has happened today, because you were the orchestrators of all this violence. You started this violence. You were tear-gassing people. People died under tear.
So they should die under UPND.
What has happened today cannot even be compared to the ruthlessness and the evil that the PF portrayed.
So the UPND should be brutal and ruthless.
No, because of your behavior. You are taunting the UPND.
Okay. Thank you, my dear brother. We've heard your comment. Thank you very much. So I was explaining that there is a narration, especially from our praise singers, who assume that because the PF could have done this, therefore it should be repeated. My question would be, why did we go to elections? Why did Zambians vote for UPND? For UPND to abuse the police? For UPND to disregard the Constitution? For UPND to do what they did today? Is that the reasons Zambians went to an election? Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Kalaba Otsai. Good evening. I'm calling you from Osaka.
Yes, please make your contribution, one short contributions, because I just came for a brief from the police. They've just released me, and I thought we could have a quick conversation.
Yeah, I'll try to be brief and to be categorical in saying that, you know, we cannot condone brutality as Zambians. But you politicians are trying to mislead people by pretending that you are doing the correct thing, but just on the background, you politicians, you big people who are supposed to lead this country into the right direction, you are the same people again who are coming behind, showing the Zambian citizen that what you are doing is right. But in fact, you are not doing the correct thing. Mr. Mwamba, try to be categorical in whatever you are doing. Try to teach the Zambian people how to live. In the end of the day, people, as the ordinary people, are going to be dying just like this. But you people who are in the forefront, who are in the front line, you will be living a very good and safe life. But the people who are suffering are we, the poor Zambians. Try to show the citizens, the people of Zambia, what to do. Instead of attacking the country, attacking the regime that are in the saddle, try to work together with these people so that you teach us a good lesson what we should do in Zambia.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So today we were at the police and we were checking on Nakachinda. Two serious things occurred. Number one, Nakachinda complained about ECZ, its composition, its lack of autonomy and independence, the structure of ECZ, and in the by-elections of Mwense, Mkushi, and Lusangazi, Nakachinda said he had information that there were pre-marked ballots. This was a regular view by President Hakainde Hichilema in opposition, where he expressed mistrust against ECZ. What we are supposed to do is to build a credible electoral commission of Zambia, that the opposition may feel safe. The opposition may feel that it's possible in this country to have free and fair elections. I've been away for the last 7 years, but I carry the bag of the PF. And here, people think that people should be brutalized. I should be harmed. Probably I should be killed because I belong to the PF. What kind of a country are we building? For me, I'm very categorical. We went to an elections, Zambians spoke. Zambians rejected cadarism. Zambians rejected what we saw today at Kawata police station, where the police even outnumber citizens that went to see Nakachinda. Zambians rejected the abuse of the police. How can that be acceptable? Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Emmanuel.
Good evening.
I'm following your program.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I'm calling from Chinsari. I'm Mr. Peter Kampamba.
Mr. Peter Kampamba, make your contribution, sir.
Yeah, it's a pity that we are going through such things in this country. And the police should know that, power is a short-lived thing. So even we are disappointed as citizens because what the President HH promised to the Zambian people, especially on the conduct of the police or other law enforcement agencies, it's different from what is happening. So when people are saying President HH is a liar, they are just justifying what is happening, because this is the president who said that during his term, the Zambians do not expect brutality like what we saw yesterday, what we saw this morning. That is inhuman and unacceptable. And you see, Zambians should not be taken for granted. They should not be taken for granted. Because what happened, those communities that were affected, the Kawata community that were affected, they were not part of it. But why should why should the police behave in such a way? Whatever is happening, it's the image of the leadership. It's not the police, but the leadership. So, if if President Church can allow such a thing, sure, without his eldership, we are told that he's an elder in the church, and an elder allowing such a thing to happen. It's something that is unacceptable as Zambians. And Zambians should open their eyes.
Yeah.
We had such things during the Second Republic, but we cannot condone. We cannot have that in this particular time of at this particular time, because this time Zambia is a democratic nation where Zambians have got rights to demonstrate, to show their concerns, either by demonstrating or by just saying it out.
Yeah. Okay, my brother from Chinsali, thank you very much for...
He cannot gauge us. He cannot gauge us. He cannot gauge the whole country. If he hates Lungu, it's not just to do that.
Yeah.
The hate that this government is actually cultivating in this nation is dangerous, because the hate that is being cultivated, as that now we may look at it to be simple, but it will have other effects in the future. Because if, for example, they killed you, let's see funny policemen, if they had shot at you, you mean the pain, because that pain of the pain that the children will feel, it won't be, they can't react now. But there will be a reaction in the near future. Who did this to our parents? Who did this to our relatives? So those people, because they are defaulted with power, they are not seeing that.
Yeah.
They are not doing, they are doing defaulted with power. They are not seeing that.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter from Chinsali.
I personally, who was affected by that? Hello?
Yeah, from the other side, we'll play the video again and we'll come back to... Let's play the 3 videos just to update the audience. Peter, thank you very much from Chinsali, and thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.
Sitting across the road, they were not at the police premises. They were seated and singing across. I don't know how that can be offensive. It's not at the police premises, it is just across. When I saw the police charge towards the women who were singing across, I went to be with them. In fact, I encouraged them to sit down so that they are in a non-aggression position. But you saw that the police proceeded to discharge tear gas canisters where we were, and they fired live ammunition. Many people scampered. As a leader, I felt I was not safe. So I just stood where I was. Of course, I was poisoned with the fumes, but I think it was safer for me to be where I was. We had come in the morning just to establish where our secretary is.
Sit down, sit down. Kalad kind that my meeting was having been Kalad. Kalad. Yamazipa Beapa.
They want to teargas us, they want to shoot at us. They can go ahead and do that. We are citizens of this country. The fact that I'm former president doesn't make me a less citizen, less national. I'm just a national Kenyan. You're former president. Former president, you think should come.
Thank you very much. You know, evidence is quite thin. What I noticed is when the police attack and charge towards you, there are these people in civilian clothes that go, especially for the people with cameras, citizens, because I know that there is citizen journalism. One lady was locked up with us because they accused her of taking pictures, and they ensured that they deleted everything she had. As you saw, as soon as the gunshot started, my young man who was carrying the live broadcast ran for his life. He was far faster than Usain Bolt. I saw them on TV. I think they also scampered. I refused to run. I think when I was standing with the other leaders, I felt I was not safe if I ran. I literally felt a bullet can come behind you. So I stood in front of the police officers, looked in their eyes, those that were literally shooting, at us, live ammunition. And then they threw the tear gas canisters on my feet, and I was in these fumes. I saw Clement Tembo, Kawata candidate, also picked up and thrown in the van, and they began to chase. But what I noticed about the police is they are going for citizens who have cameras, because when you are in public, they can see that people are filming, because our people are quite alert. But they have these uniformed people that then go to the crowd. My young man was followed. He had to run into Kawata. They still followed him. I think they wanted to get even the small footage you have seen. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Ambassador Mwamba, good evening.
Good evening.
This is Christopher calling you from Kitwe.
Mr. Christopher, from where, sir?
Yeah.
Mr. Christopher, we don't have much time. I'll give you 30 seconds.
Okay. It's a kubalila ponde for Kuranda for UPN. At UPND, power is temporal, because God has appointed everything in time and in seasons. So you are in power because Twarini become power in Zambia. And as the people of Zambia, we have the capacity and ability to vote you out of power. And the time is not with you. We are watching as the people of Zambia what you are doing to the former president. You have failed to respect that man who had taken it no chalo, maybe by PF Wabba, Chilamonica. And I'm sure to take it chalo. Tell us to say to Asirwa, who could you let to Ambo Kuramona? Kurashu Pavan to Kurachtatia Gazaba, to Avakaere. Not to one aban to Bachi, Karapanch, Banamayo, Abatiashi. Ababulo Kuchitana Michimo. A police, Bambo, Batapilition. Where are we heading towards the nation?
Yeah.
So, my appeal to UPN government is power is temporal.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. Unless we have a longer discussion, just thank you. I think we've got the gist of your argument. There's a young man, who was co-arrested with me. They brought him in cells. He was badly beaten. You've probably seen that video where he was picked from ShopRite, and he was trying, I think, to defend himself, and he literally was naked and was dragged from ShopRite across because the way they dragged him on the floor, and when he came, he was quite hurt. Our lawyers are trying to arrange. The police refused to give a police medical report, because not to go to the police to go to seek medical treatment after you've been affected, either by you've been assaulted, you require a medical report. Now, the culprits in this case are the police who brutalized him. So the police refused to give him a medical report. I don't know if our lawyer managed to get a medical report, because he was badly beaten, and especially on his calves, on his legs, and then on his back, and you could see. And it was bad to see. The phone is buzzing. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Gordon. I'm calling you from Kabwe.
Mr. Gordon, 30 seconds. We don't have much time. It's just a special broadcast to discuss what happened today.
All right, sir. Mwamba, I want to start with this nation needs healing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the deeds of the PF must not be a yardstick that should be used to measure what this government must do. We, the citizens, we want something different. Different, just like they promised. You know, you cannot pay violence for violence. If there was violence in PF, or if the police were not used appropriately in PF, it must not be used now. They must learn. We Zambians, we chose to vote out PF that time because we believe that the PF was abusing power. Now they're doing the same. You know, as a country, as a nation, we need to heal. We need the reconciliation. Now, if people are saying no, because this happened in PF, it must happen now, it means that this nation will not heal. Its government to come, will seek to revenge.
Yeah.
And no.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. Let's allow others. Zambia's 6th president, Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, came to visit me. He must have seen the videos of his members being tear-gassed and his members locked up. He came to Kawata police station. The police threatened to tear-gas him too. They didn't care whether he was former president. They were determined even to tear-gas him, to disperse him and the people he came with. Like my brother spoken from Kabwe, wrongs that were done by the PF are not a yardstick for this government. This government must be better. I was in foreign service for the last 7 years. I have come and I've joined politics. I think that this country deserves better politics. But I am being subjected to what President Hakainde Hichilema was complaining about. What did he learn from his experience? Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. I'm sorry, I don't have a WhatsApp line for those that are saying that they want to communicate on WhatsApp line. It was an emergency meeting, and remember the brief, this particular platform. I haven't had time to have it because I am concentrating on my other platform called the Conversation Podcast. So this one was just done in a hurry, just to, I think, discuss today's police brutality. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Your Excellency, and good evening, listeners.
Thank you very much. Make your contributions.
Okay, my contribution actually goes out against the behavior exhibited by Zambia police today. You know, Your Excellency, these are the same officers who cry when governments change, when transfers to remote parts come their way or promotion eludes them. My advice to the police officers is when dealing with supporters of political parties, conduct yourself in a professional manner because you swore to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia. These very citizens you are harassing and abusing have rights enshrined in the same Constitution. So there shouldn't be pawns used by the ruling party because politicians will come and go. Today we saw a Zambian citizen being dragged in the car park just across the mall in front of a police station. People seek refuge near a police station, or whenever they're in harm or danger, they run to a police station. But what was exhibited today is like the citizenry have lost confidence, have lost faith in the police. That was so degrading. Dragging your fellow citizen, your fellow Zambian. I was actually weeping that where have we reached as a country? Because that person wasn't a robber, he wasn't a serial killer, he wasn't a murderer, but the way he was dragged in the car park there. And this creates hate and anger in the citizens of Zambia towards an institution where they need to find solace, solitude, and safety. But the opposite is happening.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. In fact, that young man you are seeing that is being dragged from ShopRite across the road, I don't know, I really need to thank him. Because when I went and sat with the women, because I saw the police charge towards the women, so I thought, these women are innocent. Let me sit with them, maybe to protect them. Of course, the police proceeded to drop tear gas. People scampered, and they fired those live ammunition. And the noise of the AK-47, when it's fired here, it's a very loud gun. And I heard, I don't know how many were fired. And then I had to contend with these fumes. That young man you saw came, and because I was left alone. My young man was doing live coverage and also ran for his life. I didn't move, so I stood just there at Kawata, at zebra crossing where there are traffic lights. So I stood there alone. That young man you saw who's being dragged came and stood with me. Boss namona mlimweka abantu kutiba mipaya. Those were his words. So I went across to the car, got water to, wash off the fumes, and, I was coughing. You know what tear gas does? My eyes were teary. So I went to get a bottle of water and I was washing my face. He was with me. When I was now coming back to attempt to understand what has happened, is everyone safe? So I was crossing the road and I stood alone. That's when the police, a group of them just charged towards me. So I think the young man realized he just decided to go away behind to ShopRite, and then they picked me, lifted me like a bag and took me straight, not even at inquiries where they do that occurrence book, straight into police cells. Isule niko, we are there for straight. Ni ambassador wa Msangosha we win. Look, I was alone, standing alone. I was defenseless. I was not protesting. They were so riled, personally riled. Like I'm dealing with UPND cadres, not the police. Just the anger you could see. And they went and threw me in the police cells. And 10-15 minutes later, I saw the lady who heads the choir. Many people know her. She leads the choir, our choir. She was then brought in, and she was bruised on I can't remember whether it's left or right arm because it was swollen already. And, they brought her in. Then they brought another young man. And then, for this young, I don't want to mention them, this other gentleman was at Kawata police station. His wife miscarried yesterday. And he was at Kawata clinic, sorry. If you know the configuration of Kawata, there's Kawata police station, there's Bama Road, there's ShopRite, then there's Kawata clinic. So I don't know if some of our members are drawn into ShopRite and into the clinic. They went to pick him up. His wife had just miscarried and she was bleeding, and was preparing to take her to the investigating hospital because I think that's what he was advised. Even the entire time we were in police cells for about 5-6 hours. Every time a police officer came, he was worried about his wife. Has anyone, he was asking about his wife, and he lives around in that community. There was no justification for the brutality that I saw today. And that AK-47 is very loud. I thought I was shot, Good evening, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening. I'm speaking to James, and I'm calling from within Lusaka.
Yes, make your contributions, my brother.
Yes. Firstly, I would like to just be quick to mention that what is happening in the country today is very much a sorry sight for most of us growing up as young people. I say so because the current government should not use the PF as a tool to, as a basis or as a tool to measure how best they can run this country. PF is not in power. What is in power today is the UPND. and they came in power on the premise that they will do better. So as long as the UPND continues to do that which the PF used to do, then they are very much worse than the PF, because they have an opportunity now to amend the mistakes, to make this country a better place than the PF left it. But if they continue to do the very thing that the PF used to do to them, just so they can prove a point, or maybe they'll think Zambians are looking at that to be normal. They're very wrong. Zambians do come to a time when they'll say enough is enough, and the same thing will happen to this same government. So it's just an emphasis to say, Ayamaka Mkwete is coming a time, Yakapwa. And for us in Zambia, who are not even into this politics, we are watching. We're not saying you're doing better than the PF, or by you causing the same harm the PF caused on you, then you're doing better. No. We have forgotten about what the PF used to do, because they're not in power. That's why we voted the PF out. And now what we have is a UPND leadership, which promised the rule of law, which promised cheaper mealie meal, which promised cheaper fuel, which promised many other things. Are those things, coming to pass as they promised? Those are the questions we're asking as Zambians. And like what we are seeing, what I saw today was the police totally being political. They are even saying this is a political statement. How does the police know a political statement from Areva? Those are freedoms of speech. Should people not speak? Should people not offer solidarity? That is absolutely madness. We are saying no to that. We cannot go back to that kind of a way of living. People fought for the freedom we're enjoying as a country. That is my contribution. I thank you.
Thank you very much. In fact, earlier in the broadcast when I went live, you must have seen a police officer who we last met in Zingalume. He just said, like, I am not allowed to talk about switch. And he was very combative. You could hear him, I think the camera would span to him, and he said, you are not going to do what you are doing. What's wrong with updating our members? You go live on Facebook and update our members what's happening. I was updating our members that sadly, I have not found Nakachinda, who the country was told Nakachinda is at Kawata police station. I was alarmed that he was moved in the night around 01. I was alarmed that neither his lawyer nor his family knew where Nakachinda was. So I stepped outside the police station there, as you saw, and I began to give a broadcast. They said, no, you are near the police here. I moved away. I went outside the premises. He says, we've been told you shouldn't be doing these things. Am I not allowed to express myself? Am I not chair of information and publicity in my party? I'm not supposed to do my job. It's like telling Cornelius Mwetwa not to speak, or telling Tabo Kawana not to speak. His duty is to speak and communicate the ideals and ideas of his bosses. Charlotte Chieswich, where are we going? Good evening, and tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, Mr. Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Yes, can I proceed, Ambassador Emmanuel
We
Mwamba?
can hear you, sir. You've got about 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to commend you for this mobilization and solidarity you are showing. I want to put it to you that it's important, it's imperative for opposition political parties to come together to ensure that once any one of you is arrested, you have the right to go and offer solidarity. What you did is very excellent and must be commended. And all opposition political players must emulate that. Because what is happening is that you must understand that those are acts of a desperate government. You must understand that those are acts of a one-man is scared dictator. You must be aware of that. And you must be aware of that this is the process now of rigging the elections in 2026. That process has started of rigging the general election. And you must be alive to that. Because what is there is that how many people have complained over pre-marked ballot boxes? PF lost Jackson Konga died at the hands of the UPND in a painful and gruesome manner. And they didn't find those pre-marked ballot boxes.
What morality do they have today? I want to commend also the former president, President Kalungu, for his statement that he has issued. The police need to be sufficiently taught that what you are doing, you may land this government, they may not even finish a term, because people may rise against these things. People are hungry, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba. People are waiting for these people to be addressing issues of meal. To Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, Pamera. They can't even buy 25 kg meal. This is what I'm telling you, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba. These are the issues that President Hakainde and this government must be concentrating on. And ECZ, Electoral Commission of Zambia, we know they have planted the cadres in that institution. And these are cadres now who are giving these petty instructions, abusing the police. And please tell this government that they are denting their name internationally. These things that they are doing, people, they are knowing what's happening in Washington. Even in Britain, people are knowing all over the world. There's the social media now. They are tarnishing their image.
Yeah.
So please,
thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. And then there is this thing they do. They brutalize you. You are the victim in all this process. Like I said, peaceful people who, ordinary humble women, you come and discharge firearms. You come and throw those tear gas canisters. And then you proceed to arrest them. So they proceeded, we the victims, I couldn't even recover properly from those tear gases. I'm turned to a criminal. I'm now charged with disorderly conduct. So that tomorrow you are the one, who is a victim, look that you are lawless. You look like you are the one that was at fault. Yet you are the victim. Zambians must understand that Dr. Kaunda's one-party state was far stronger. Let me take this call. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening. Kindly make your contributions.
I think my name is Yoni Brian.
Yes.
Ambassador, as a country, we are not going to allow the brutality of the police. If indeed Hakainde Hichilema, as he promised that we rule the country based on the law and whatever you call it, law or whatever it is, this is just a provocation to many Zambians. And when people rise, there's no army which is bigger than the people. And so he should not push his likes too far. I think he has
There's a gentleman here called Conrad Wilson Chikumi, one of these praise singers. He says, Mr. Mwamba, what does the Public Order Act say? But you are accusing government of being a police state. Yes, it is a police state. I went to the police station to establish where Nakachinda was. Is it, to you, Conrad Wilson Chikumi, are we not a police state if the police can pick a citizen who is in police custody, they take him out in the middle of the night? Are they even allowed to remove you in the middle of the night? Is that a rule of law? It's like they can put this country on fire just to support lawlessness. I thought this government would learn from the mistakes of the PF and be a better government. And I'm glad that members of the public are now caning them, are now rebuking them. If the PF did something wrong, you correct it. If the PF did something better, you make it best. I think that's a standard. That's why we go to review. That's why we go to elections. Hello, good evening, and tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yes, Mr. Mwamba.
Good evening, my brother.
Yes, I'm calling from just within Lusaka.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, I'm Francis Kalunga.
Thank you, Mr. Francis. Make your contribution, sir.
Yes, my contribution is UPND, economy, not to be cut out opposition. And I told them nearly several times, because, forget about opposition. Listen them, you just continue to work at, to promise Zambian people at 50 kwacha and 12 kwacha, not to arrest the opposition. Opposition is very
Zambia. What's the step down knee, eh? You know, what can resign? Let's be resigning. It's failed to rule this country. Eh? Yes.
Thank you very much. Francis Kalunga is correct. The opposition at their last press conference demanded that President Hakainde Hichilema must call for fresh elections. Why did they say that? Look at the various crises that we have. We have cholera outbreak, the worst this country has ever had. I was looking at Médecins France International report where they said 700 people died. It's the largest cholera outbreak. Over 19,000 people were affected. We have anthrax. We have typhoid. We even have syphilis. Amalolo akalo tuswende, which people thought were behind us. Then, of course, the economy is in doldrums. The foreign exchange rate is, foreign exchange market is volatile and uncontrollable. It doesn't matter how many measures, how much they siphon out of the economy, and the economy is just on its knees. There is no economic recovery plan. And then when we come to good governance, oh my God, the corruption is on its highest. You may not see it, but we do see it. The shrinking democratic space, the abuse of the rule of law. We have brought peace. What peace have you brought? When there is hunger in every household, that means there is peace. What is peace? For me as a diplomat, we ask, what is peace? If people can eat food and go to bed, they've eaten, yes, that is peace. And let us provide that peace. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling from Undazi.
Yes, sir. Make your contributions.
Ina nankala konga kutoka kuseni pamene bantu batu benzi wende pa polisi pakabwata bakuti bantu ndi bamene bamafuna no volotani. So when we talk about UPND, we think about people. So nekera kwa swasta bwandi, but vaneva panga ni ventauti ni mustokonezo. Instead ya kuti, but wero tiri gwino yai, but them bagwiririra chinsamnesiwanga kwa nise. So bokati sibaziba icho. Bangankale mo offices that bantu ni vokalipa. People they will raise. Zambia is bigger than everyone. So ngati visitor so but there is a nation whereby Zambia we need peace. You know, we need peace.
Thank you very much. Thank you. President Hakainde Hichilema complained about the Public Order Act. He said he would repeal it the first time he's in office. Well, it's been 2.5 years and he won't touch that law. He used to complain that he had been arrested 17 times. And, well, at the rate he's going, we are all beating him with, let me take this call. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Yeah, please continue with your contributions.
Yeah, I think HH had promised the Zambian people that you govern based on the law. And I think Eddie Garungu and the Patriotic Front or opposition is not the enemy for HH. The main opposition for HH is the Zambians. Right now, we thought that he's going to bring a different leader, different way of governance. He's not giving Zambians the solutions because this brutality was condemned by him and he's doing it even 3 times worse than it was before. So let him concentrate on providing leadership, providing solution to Zambians. Right now we are seeing yellow maize coming on board. When they had everything in their hands, they went on and sold the maize to other countries. Basically, the man has got no heart for Zambian people, and all what he wants is to become one person. HH is not a god, and as Zambians, we are not going to bow before him. He should put that in the back of his mind. Zambians, we are not going to bow before him. If he wants to arrest, let me arrest all Zambians, because one time, like the president has mentioned, Zambians will rise. We saw it in 1998. Zambians rose for a good call, and he should not push his right too far. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Brian says on the list of cholera, dysentery, typhoid, and anthrax outbreaks, we should remember that we are famine, and for the first time, we are now seeing yellow maize. That's usually given, a stock feed for our cattle. Yellow maize is now back on the market, and of course, what makes the opposition call for fresh elections, for President Hakainde Hichilema, to call for fresh elections, is that there's no economic blueprint. We can't see an economic recovery plan outside the crisis the country is facing. And then he refuses to accept that we are in a crisis. He thinks that he was elected for 5 years and he should be given a mandate until he finishes the 5 years. He said he will make a turnaround. Well, he said within 24 hours, within 30 days, within 60 days, within 100 days. He keeps on asking for more time. Your name and where you're calling us from?
This is Patriotic Front. Good evening, AMD.
Good evening.
How are you this evening?
I'm not well. Wachinjitila teargas yomuntu wandi. Elo shidie mfuti wachilisha pamutwe. Amatwi na yakoma. Iyo ndekumfo, I'm straining. I've put you loudest.
You know, Mwamba, yes, it's sad, but sometimes you know that we are the same people that dare the police to do that. If you remember very well what used to happen during PF, many people, some people died because of this same behavior by the police. So sometimes we may just be blaming someone, it's the same police that you use, it's the same police that is doing the same to you.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. We have heard this argument that the police were brutal in PF, so they have to be brutal under UPND. I don't understand that thinking. So the wrongs that were committed under the PF must be repeated by the UPND. That is what is fair. Challenges which we have work to do as a country. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Iyo ndife wino we mfiashi nwe nani?
I'm free 8 minutes kuchingora. Machure mikawi.
Ya iyo muntu wandile sana tupususha.
Kile kitike siwa Mwamba. Nye isekere mona mfano. Dafi neke arekita MPF. Na vena ba UPF eto barekita. So nde mwono kusano tapulita pali na nguvumo. Deti wale tuteka so mcharo. Dure chulo kuchushi nsala ya alipona. Vincense ya alikuero mtengo. Bambi okulavitira ponesi. Inshini kwisa tuleya nomba. So ineba Mwambeko ninga mikoteresha. Eze niwa president eti galungu. Leza ama councillors bonse na ma MPs bonse bachite resign. Muri chile chipancha Patriotic Front bajoine ukwa so that tukwate fresh election wangu fyaba bantu leba nukula kubaka kuma. So epetuwe ingabo mbeo ineba Mwamba. Mutekanye mulande Paris cause watichusha wabantu. Eti watichusha kunkala bambe na kula tichusha wale kama teargas. Nikuza kunitrea ngechalo. Balera ndoko bati wala teke chalo. Bro. Bati chonse finafyo na itakubo. Bale bomse wa police, bale bomse wa makoti. Nomba nishirizi kuseko tulea. So wa Mwamba wombele ni pali kofine. Bati resign nama member of parliament. Bonse. Nama councillors bonse. So that tukwate fresh election. Na totela mkwa.
I personally need to invest in the media. I think I need those long lenses so that my live coverage can be done from a distance. Then Zambians would have gotten the videos. You've got some of the videos, but what I witnessed today was horrifying to me. The kind of brutality and just a kind of attacks being done on innocent people, innocent women and men. I couldn't believe it. I was not running away. The way they were firing those ammunitions, live ammunition. And those guns are very, very loud. You wonder if you've already been hit. You wonder whether you're actually even dead because they're so loud. And then the tear gas canisters and the fumes. And our colleagues are saying you used to do that, so it should be done to you. Is that the democracy we want that disregards the Constitution, the rule of law? I know the police have a mandate. I know the police have a duty to keep law and order, but you don't charge at innocent people. The people you've outnumbered, you don't discharge firearms. Live bullets. Isn't this the same thing that President Hakainde Hichilema would condemn repeatedly? He would say that bullet was aimed for me. I suspect those bullets were aimed for me. Because earlier in the broadcast when I arrived, you heard that policeman who was saying, Iwe, but he was warning me that they will not allow me, when I come to make a live broadcast, either near the police or outside the police. He says those are the instructions they have. Good evening, and tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Hello? Yes, good evening.
How are you?
Very well, speak louder.
Good evening, how are you, Mr. Mwamba?
I can hear you now. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling from Gwembe.
Yes, from Gwembe. Kindly make your contributions, although we didn't get your name.
Now, Mr. Mwamba, yes, I'm calling from Gwembe, South. What the matter on the law, that boys are so much.
Continue, sir. We are hearing you.
So, the matter on the boys, you know what? We want to analyze on this hotel, I say. Hotel, I come back up for them, and otherwise, people will go back to it. So, there is so much there. Using the police, using judges, using a lot of officers so that this is not a democracy, this is a youth politics.
Thank you very much.
But now, the people are suffering every corner of Ghana. Bantu aputika, Komasayangana, Pakuputika Bantu, but where they are busy, we start abusing people. That is the nonsense, that is the useless.
Yes.
This is the useless politics. Because people are crying, I'm telling you this. Because all promises the men are promised. The promise the men now taking free education. That is the free education. So please, I think UCA, to turn out the UCA is a party sometimes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So make sure just to work hard, otherwise we are together here. Southern Body. Mimi nankala convince kupotela kainde. Ninankala convince kupotela kainde kamba kapoza mimi ana now.
Thank you, my brother.
Now, but now naona kama mulipe leadership. That leadership anaitenga through polls, through propaganda. So I'm including the son come back on a Tilimbani, Gurizana and so much, Gurizana and so that when they so that 2026, Munga country ya Zambia, one for Butika, Munga to the Katundi, one for many Yanyamola, Yanja. Because people are suffering, people are crying, I'm telling you, people are dying, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So please, just wake over it.
Thank you very much.
Until the glory in Zambia is here.
I have to check on my brother, Clement Tembo Kawata, aspiring candidate. I didn't like what I saw while I was standing on the road, the way they picked him up and threw him behind that Hilux. I hope he's well. For me, thank God, I'm well other than the trauma of those gunshots and then the tear gas that, that poisonous fumes, the pepper spray was terrible. But I pray that I'm fine. I haven't seen a doctor yet. I came from police station and I came to this live broadcast. 4 of us were then picked up and charged with what they call disorderly conduct. What was our crime? Today I went to Kawata Police Station to follow up on our Secretary General, Raphael Nakachinda, who was locked up at the police station. They had locked him up for his criticism on ECZ, a charge that stretches far back, 4th November 2022. They said he had issued a statement, and that statement on pre-marked ballots, they said he disregarded the request and therefore he failed what they called statutory duties. When I went to the police station, I was totally alarmed to discover that Raphael Nakachinda was not there. My camera is blipping and it's saying that low battery. Kindly connect the battery so that our people can see. Are we back online? What's happening to our line? I think people can still hear us. But so I went to see Honorable Raphael Nakachinda. And when I arrived to see Honorable Raphael Nakachinda, sorry, I'm just changing the battery on my camera. I think the camera is flat, but I think you've got the audio. When I found out that Honorable Raphael Nakachinda was not at the police station and that a group of policemen came and retrieved him from the police 01 in the night, something that is not allowed, and take him elsewhere to an unknown place, I was totally alarmed, and I decided that we should broadcast this information to our members, to our supporters that were probably coming to Kawata Police Station, that they should know that, first of all, Nakachinda is not at Kawata Police Station and that he was moved in the night. We found a heavy presence of the police. They didn't want to allow my broadcast. They didn't want to allow us to talk. You must have seen, for those that were following, and they repeatedly threatened me that they have instructions that I should not speak at the police station. I don't speak at the police station. I usually speak outside the police station because that's public space. And you saw the women who were across Kawata were singing, and this infuriated the police. They came over, tried to stop the women. The women have a right to express themselves. Singing is part of freedom of expression. They tried many times to stop the women from singing. When I saw them harass the women, I walked across and I told the women, let's sit down. Because when you are seated down, you are in a posture that doesn't threaten anyone. But they still came, discharged firearms and discharged tear gas canisters that disturbed the peace of that entire area. You know what the tear gas fumes do? Even the people, no shalimo on Salavamo, because they spread, they're like airborne, they spread with the air. So there was this commotion. I refused to run away. I didn't feel safe in the midst of those gunfire and in the midst of the tear gas canisters. And sadly, my young man who does live coverage ran for his life, and he was actually being pursued by the police. I think they didn't want any of those footage gotten. But you've seen some footage, for example, of a young man who was fished out from ShopRite, dragged naked, literally naked, dragged on the floor up to Kawata Police Station, and they came and threw him in the police cell. They detained another innocent woman who was a passerby. She was on a video call. They accused her of having taken evidence of their brutality on us. She came, she was crying, she was in such a state. She's not a cadre. She's not even, I don't think she's even a member of any political party. She was so traumatized. I tried to speak to the police, as you can see the state. Just look at her, how traumatized she is. And she kept on telling me, they've deleted everything in my gallery. So why are they still detaining me? I was just on a video call. Kashwa policing a video call. And the heavy-handedness of the police didn't even spare Zambia's 6th president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. I've later seen videos when he came to the police station. In fact, some of his handlers were pleading with the former president, Mr. President, you are former president, they will tear gas you. You heard what he said. He said, let them tear gas me, because they've tear gassed our members. He stood with his own members that had, their crime was to come and see Raphael Nakachinda. That was their biggest crime. Let's take the last 5 calls and we call it quit. I need to go and rest, and I need to find out if I'm well. Because in my ears, you know, that AK-47 is a very loud gun. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Please mute your device and make your contributions.
Hello.
Make your contribution, mute your device.
Mulishani mkwaye.
Iyo, wuchushweka weka muntu wandi.
Mkwaye, nivatata wa mwamandela na lavena wa.
Mkwaye.
Mkwaye abasyashi kwena kwa chimone kya tikero mwakisha kupolisi mkwaye.
Shimieni foni yenwe iyo likumba liomuletamba, ile pange chongo.
Mkwaye kwa chimona itachatika mkwaye mwakisha kukabwata mkwaye.
Mkwaye.
Mkwaye, ndetu mina kuno kumpika kuno ne mkuka.
Mkwaye ba mkuka.
Mkwaye, au tatachi wepi sumanga nshisani chine batata wesu wa mwamba.
Thank you very much.
Tatachi wama mkwaye, che fwa ipase mkwaye batata wesu. Tokine wakora wambia wabachanda utesteni se wanse tuingire mchishipani chechi pia chapanga batata warungu icho. Yamo tuingire wangu. Tuchitena nekani tufomi wangu tuvike mutari n'intungurushe mwala vika kumwele ne isuma sana ngaji yara twakwisha bwino kuti twingenge mwaka wa 2026 ngawina my election.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm taking the last 5 calls. I just want to go and rest. We did this emergency broadcast to communicate to you what happened at Kabwata today, typifying what is happening in this country, that this country literally we are under police state. They don't want us to speak. Look at the ridiculous charges that Raphael Nakachinda is facing, that he failed in his statutory duties. Does Nakachinda, a citizen, have statutory duties? Statutory duties are for those that are sworn officers or are holding constitutional offices. Does Nakachinda hold a constitutional office? They said when he talked about pre-marked ballots against ECZ, they are saying he failed in his statutory duty. Totally ridiculous. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Good evening.
We are not okay. We are not okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you know what it means? Sometimes, what I can just say, this is the mistake.
Yes.
Are you getting me?
Yes, we can. Please make your contribution, sir.
Okay, so my advice, let me just say it. I want to encourage you and to make you strong and strong. You know, these people, they are not understanding the situation or the moment which they are. Question I'm making now, Mr. Mwamba. These people, they are fighting with Zambians and they are fighting with themselves all the now. You know, I want to put it on record to say, in such a way, and the first time, I want to go far the Kanda, which they are going to be Nama saying, Bariwa, Musia Quare, that you met the music that are the church to put it into the Yaquare, the Allocated to put it into the Yaquare, in the Papa to Gramma. So you imagine the music that are pure Christian nation. I don't think that it's a but you ask to say they know what they are doing, what they are done. Then first time, he said, time left of a pair and go with the next day, what I remember the that's how we say that they are in Samata only. You don't understand, and they don't understand you that God got blinded. So, you know, the Catholic, you know, the end of the issue. They could have provided their message driving,
alaleta inene ndekenzinga nepresident akakita Mumbai nesale bakanda because ine people sende bona bonaka no so what is the process style and the generator Mwangande kwa ikitare katisi kwa mtale kifika Zambia. They are busy fighting. They are busy fighting innocent people. They are busy ukula ikata abantu babulanye plan. Bamwamba. Ile mwiri. Ibora jara intwara. Nesakirare bakanda. Aba bakanda anjalere nje kwa bale ale bene ale ni ukwaba nesakita. Nesakita. Ibora bale tete jesema zanja kachura kafane kataja kapire kata kusinga lembo bakanda bakanda intera yabo akawane.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Fidelis Mazuba says, what's wrong with controlling the mob using tear gas? Fidelis Mazuba, what is wrong is that there was no crowd to begin with. In fact, the police outnumbered our people. The people were just beginning, just joining in. If you saw the women that were singing, they were probably about under 10. You can see in the video. And there was no justification to go and charge at innocent women who are merely singing. For me, that's why I went to go and sit with the women. The police should be professional, not what we saw, where they're discharging firearms and they're discharging tear gas canisters. Hendrik Sangandu says there were no firearms. Oh, well, maybe that's a narrative they want to create. I was there. I heard you. The sound of an AK-47 is unmistakable. When you just hear it, it didn't do once, it didn't do twice. The tear gas canister, when it pops, that sound again is unmistakable. So, of course, I think these are our praise singers. We know them very well. They have a habit of trivializing serious issues. I think that Zambians want a democratic society. Zambians want a professional police. Zambians want a strong opposition. Zambians want a government that delivers, not going back. We will not go back to dictatorship and to one-party rule. I'm remaining with 2 phone calls, and then you'll allow me to go and rest. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Mr. Moya from Rwanda.
Mr. Moya, my brother, make your contributions.
My contribution is this, is that you are not more than a God, you people. That's one thing you should know. Allow your friends to work in peace. Don't always be complaining. Don't forget the nonsense which you are doing to your PNC. Always what you plant is what you always get. So always remember that that's what you were planting as well. And in fact, that guy is very much okay. He's not heartless like you people.
Thank you, Mr. Moya. Thank you very much. May I take that, Mr. Moya? He says we should give President Hakainde Hichilema time and we shouldn't speak. Of course, he's being highly partisan. I think what we want is a better Zambia for ourselves, for our children, for your children, Mr. Moya. We want you to live in peace. And if you wish to demonstrate and protest, you have a right to. We were not doing that. We went to see Nakachinda. Nakachinda was locked up, and the country was told why Nakachinda was locked up. They said he failed in his statutory duties. Nakachinda, when we arrived at the police station, he was not there. He had been taken in the middle of the night. Is that what you want for your citizen when they are locked up, for your family member, when they are locked up, when you go to the police, you do not find them? Ted Chamamazunda is a regular contributor on my page. He says, but of all places, why did the women saw it fit early in their morning to go and sing at the police station? Ted, sometimes, you're quite educated, but as a praise singer, you lose it. Nakachinda is a Secretary General of the Patriotic Front. Nakachinda heads as an executive. He's heading the largest opposition party in our country. You mean when he's locked up, his members should stay away? What kind of thinking is that, Teddy. Come on. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yes.
And Dita Nimweba Nimkwai. Mulengangandu, please switch off the other phone behind you. Yes.
Mwaikala kwa mubuteko mwabachiruba ubuteko bwachenjere sana ukushibe fintu mweba kuile mwaleta kona mafundi apya na strategy apya kumila kwa ma politics ifo fwe bantu wenu fwe bapokela ma politics mututumina na tuna kana timu ya kale ya kumpanga mwa politics timwali la mwacha ku police nga mwachikonke funde ya buteko for the yalanda because takwa mu ntrombo mu maso ya chale bakali especially more would take on what you want bombana. You know, it's 24 hours a month for my cruise. So,
Bana mwachila umfefe na chila landa. Bana mwachila umfefe na chila landa. Tuachia sanga na kachinda taliko police station, is that normal? Ifine nde kulanga. Okay, my brother, thank you very much. Blaming the victim. He wants to blame us. We went to see Nakachinda. We have become now the criminals because we went to see Nakachinda. Nakachinda was locked up and I personally was alarmed. I personally don't trust this government. This government tortured me. I do not have a tooth. They removed my tooth. I was harmed, you know. How can I trust the police officers that would pick any of the persons I know or any Zambian at 01 and take them away from the police custody? How can I not be alarmed about that? Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Kindly tell us your name and where you are calling us from and switch off the other device.
Good evening, Mwamba.
Good evening.
You are speaking very well.
Your name, sir?
My name is Comrade Mkosa.
My dear brother, Comrade Mkosa. Good evening.
Yes, you are speaking very well, Comrade. But you need to be reminded that as you are trying to do your politics, the PF, more especially in public places, you need to be reminded that you don't have to disturb other innocent citizens like you did this morning. That's why we followed you. We followed whatever was happening there. The police tried to advise you, you being the reader who was there before Monday came. They advised you to say, here is a public place. People are busy selling their materials. Can you go somewhere so that you can have your gathering? We were here, where you're going, and your partners, you minus directing them what to do. They are busy. No, we are not going anywhere. If you want, you can teargas us here. Now, what was supposed to be done?
Good. Comrade Mukosa speaks, is a member of the UPND Alliance, but let me just answer him. I think everything was live. We protested first to be removed away from the police. We felt safe from the police. You heard, we saw UPND cadres across, packed in a bus in ShopRite. Our members identified them. And our members know each other. They said there's a group there. Some even said it was led by Gilbert Liswani. So I personally didn't see him, but people told us so. So our members felt safe with the police. The police chased us away. I was even asking the justification by the police, where our members are expressing fear that you have UPND cadres that has come to the police station where Nakachinda is. And you saw me express concern to the police that in fact, These members are better sheltered at the police. Despite the risk, where we were pushed, where supposedly UPND members were, the police pushed us away from the police station. So Comrade Mukosa from the UPND Alliance, I just wanted to clarify that in fact our members felt safe at the police station. And you are saying we should have gathered elsewhere so that they charge us with illegal gathering, they charge us, they cite the Public Order Act for us. We had come to see Nakachinda and our demand was singular. Where is Nakachinda, who we have learned in the occurrence book shows that you whisked him away in the middle of the night? Wasn't that a decent question? Would you not be alarmed if you went to a police station where you left your brother or your family member at 20 hours, the following day you hear that he was taken away in the middle of the night? Wouldn't you be alarmed? Are the police allowed to do what happened to Nakachinda, where they whisk him away at midnight, 01:02? In fact, Nakachinda remembers because it was raining heavily when they picked him up. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Chechen calling you all the way from Mongo.
Who's calling, sir?
Chechani.
Chechani. Mr. Chechani from Mongo. Amubulele
yes.
Wondatem.
Yes, Chief. Let me get the word of the previous caller before the one who caught it. To say, you guys, you are not being honest, more especially for you, Mr. Mwamba. You, as a senior politician, for me as a young politician, this time around we should be looking upward to you. In a manner you do politics.
Yes, I think we lost the caller. I think, let me have the last caller, then we begin to wind up. We've had a good discussion. We came here to alert you of what happened today, where tear gas was discharged, where firearms, gunshots were discharged by the police to disperse our people. They brutalized two of our members, personally, that I saw, who were brought into police cell. They refused to issue a medical report. They said because the people involved are police officers who brutalized that young man. The video has gone viral. They brutalized him. Their police officers, they said they were doing their job. And they said such a decision could only be done by their seniors. So I hope that with our lawyers that the young man can seek medical treatment. He didn't seem well. I personally, for me, really, other than the tear gas canisters and just the loud noise of that AK-47 just near where you are, was traumatizing, but I think I'm okay. I pray that I'm okay. And I came to brief the country of what happened, that when we say that our democracy is threatened, when we say the rule of law, when we say the heavy-handedness of the police is something you should worry about. And what was Nakachinda's crime? Nakachinda's raised concerns around the Electoral Commission of Zambia, which concerns have also repeated, which concerns Fred Membe has repeated, which concerns Harry Kalawanchalakateka have raised. The structure of ECZ, the lack of representation, regional representation at that ECZ, the presence of UPND cadres. ECZ is being prepared for what may not be free and fair elections. If you do not have free and fair elections, they threaten your national peace and security. It's imperative that you have free and fair elections, and it's imperative that voter registration, the concerns that the opposition are raising, if you want to impose electronic voting, these are justified concerns. And instead of listening to us, they proceeded to lock up Nakachinda. Nakachinda is Secretary General of the Patriotic Front, and they should listen to his concerns when he raises them, not lock him up. I went to the police, and I was alarmed that Nakachinda was not at the police station. His lawyers were not aware of where he was. His family was not aware where Nakachinda was. The only people that had scanty information were the police at Kawata police station. That showed us that in the occurrence books, it showed that Nakachinda was discharged from police. We were alarmed. We feared for his life. And there was a hunt. We dispatched various members, even the lawyers dispatched their various members of, from the law firm to go and hunt for where Nakachinda was. People went up to Baumoro, others went to Chilenge, others finally, he was found at Chelston police station. We were at Kawata because that's where we last saw him. And we were demanding answers. Mumutwele kwisa umuntu wesu. I think that's a legitimate question. We didn't deserve the tear gas. We didn't deserve the gunshots. So we begin to wind up, and I think our democracy is threatened and we need to blow the whistle. They want us quiet when we raise concerns about ECZ. They don't want that conversation about ECZ. Maybe they want us to be preoccupied with the exchange rate. They don't want us to question the abuse of law enforcement agencies. What I saw today terrified me. Where the police, other than the ones that came to me, I saw police target citizens that had cameras on. That you don't see regularly in a democracy. They just didn't target us. They targeted ordinary members of society that were filming. And one lady I mentioned earlier was traumatized. She was brought in, in the police, and she was detained, and she kept on crying. I had to console her because she did nothing wrong other than being a member of citizens. And then the people around that ShopRite, when tear gas fumes are discharged, you can imagine just the chaos and the inconvenience that occurred. Over what? Over women sitting on the floor singing. And how many were the women? You can look at the video where you have the police outnumber the women that are singing. They said they were persuading us. We said we just want answers. Where is Nakachinda? And they couldn't provide the answers. This was an emergency and quick discussion, and thank you for participating in the discussion. Until next time, we have to go. Let me go and catch some rest and some breath, especially I still can smell the tear gas and my ears are ringing from that noise from those guns. Until next time, we'll be back. God bless you.